right, looks like these guys got a little bit of a head start, but Annie will be the player up top. I think Tawkos is his name, and versus Icemayne to start things off. And it looks like starting off with a tide turner. You know, Ned, we don't get to see tide turner too often in Annie, right? Normally that's more of a Draven Irelia low cost unit.
I was thinking it's more of a Teemo unit, but that's just what I play locally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not usually something I normally see in these lists. They tend to favor bigger units to start off, or not bigger units to start off, but more cantripy stuff in the beginning. But a unit's a unit. Get some early
Right?
points.
Two drop is a two drop. Might as well have one than not. And one of the best curves for Lucian is just go ahead and start off with that chosen champion. Lucian, the body Lucian Merciless, is probably the best. I almost want to say the best card in the Lucian decks. Just the ability to be going in and out of battlefields, conquering one. And then if you add it with things like its signature spell, Relentless Pursuit, it really does a number on your opponent. So I'm excited to see how much work this Lucian Merciless is able to get done this game one. Because I've honestly never seen a Lucian versus an Annie, but you told me before we got started you're anticipating this game to not go too long, right?
Oh yeah, these are Annie is real low to the ground, fast, get points as fast as you can, and hope to hold out at the end. Lucian, I haven't seen the list. Stereotypically is a bunch of slow or low cost unit, good equipment, and removal spells. So I expect this to just be a slugfest back and forth.
Right, a whole lot of conquering, not a whole lot of defending, as was most likely going to be going down for this round one. But it looks like he picked up. We actually didn't get to see. Oh, and a side note, I completely forgot to mention, guys, because there is a good amount of prize pool on the line. Unlike our previous events, we decided to do the closed hand because honestly, no matter how long of a delay we do, last time we had a 10-minute delay. That's decent delay, but sometimes you have your most crucial card in your hand for 30 minutes. Maybe you save it for the very end. So we thought, out of fairness to all the players, not just the players being streamed on the feature matches, it made sense to go ahead and hide everything just in case any kind of, stream sniping shenanigans. We want to give the benefit of the doubt to all players, but, just better safe than sorry. So if you're wondering why we can't see the hand like we usually can in our events, that's the reason. So me and Ned are just going to be anticipating what these plays can be and just kind of talking about what they are doing, of course, as Annie goes ahead and hides something on that dreaming tree.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that is because I don't know too many cards that Annie usually plays that are hidden cards, but the much more familiar Traveling Merchant played to base, and Lucian gonna conquer his own battlefield to go up to 1. A new battlefield, Forge of the Fluff.
Oh,
Now
and that's
his legend
definitely a
ability
newer
can tap.
card. We've seen it in the like solution build. It attempts to be the best when you hold, or actually it's the other way around. Hold and conquer effects are flipped. So, or not flipped, but they both of them are guaranteed are given to your unit, right? So hold are conquer effects, and conquer effects are hold effects, which tends to get a little carried away if you have things like Triforce Trinity, or Trinity Force, I believe is called. So you're able to conquer, gain 2 points, hold, gain 2 points. So it gets a little out of hand. Let's see how that ends up impacting the remaining of this game as a challenge comes down. Who is he going to be targeting, though? Is Lucian versus most likely that Tide Turner, I would imagine?
Well, the Tide Turner is there with a hidden card. It may be wise to go over the Traveling Merchant just so it doesn't start getting that draw discard engine, but choosing to get rid of the battlefield so to stop Annie from holding. And it was a switcheroo that was hidden as we see it hit the discard pile.
That is a huge swing for Lucian. Getting rid of a switcheroo. That card is so impactful. It single-handedly won me my pre-release event. I somehow ended up going 5-0 because my shop, instead of doing like a pack for win, they wanted to go like full try hard and do like a top 8 cut for 2 boxes. Somehow, Ned, I don't know how, but switcheroo carried me to a 5-0 undefeated streak. And I got a whole lot of packs. I'll show you guys some of my pulls during the break. But now throwing it back to Annie. Let's see what she has, because that was a big little bit of a tempo swing that she lost there. While Lucian remains with a strong unit in the back, of course. She does have access to things like Accelerated Kaiser Survivor, but you want to be careful because you're going to be completely tapping out for a play like that. So starting things off, seeing what's more. Oh, he actually pitches a Fight or Flight. Do you think he might have another one, perhaps?
It's possible, but with how much Lucian goes in and out of battlefields, the any player may just be thinking that it's just not worth it to keep this.
Very true. And speaking of the devil, Kaiser Survivor does indeed end up coming down in accelerated speed, so we'll be able to conquer draw one. But as we mentioned, oh, of course, I've been playing against Draven one too many times. Annie is never truly tapped out. You always have two up at the end of your turn for those fight or flights, for those rebukes. So at the bare minimum, I'm expecting something like a fight or flight since we just saw him pitch one. I would only imagine because Lucian, he actually only gets his trigger on the conquer. So if you push him back before he conquers, he won't actually be able to ready.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Flash is also another possibility. Just get both the units back to base.
I love that, yeah.
You know, there's purple is in no drought for movement spells.
Yeah, not at all. And that flash would actually be a huge advantage. As you said it,
And there
Ned,
it is.
the flash coming down. You're going to get a +1 on the Dreaming Tree. Another draw from the Traveling Merchant move. So that's a net 2 cards, or a net 1, but you're going to be able to see 2 more cards off the top. And the best thing of all, you're keeping everything nice and protected in the base. So Annie's feeling good as she's pulling up ahead. But of course, Lucian trying to start that climb back, get himself to 2 points. And it's funny to have that and let me see what the name of it exactly is. The Skyfall, right? The Skyfall, because Lucian doesn't really necessarily tend to hold, so he kind of doesn't get the most benefit out of that card. I think at the minimum you're just getting that +3 or the +2 the Skyfall grants. And wait a second.
So tapping the legend ability with the battlefield to move over to the campy target unit, and then retreating Lucian back after conquering.
Yeah, so he attaching
play.
equipment you control to a unit you control, so he tapped it. You're totally right. So using Forge of the Fluff there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I think Ruin Runner is a whole lot better target. I think he has something like a Trinity Force in mind. Ruin Runner, Skyfall, Trinity Force, that seems like a wombo combo. How will Annie be able to deal with that? You can't rebuke it. You can't fight or flight. And if you're able to save some kind of combat tricks, aka like a interesting punch first, that Ruin Runner is going nowhere, but you want to try to set it up sooner than later. So let's see how he does it, because Annie's starting to pull ahead here.
That Forerunner was the bane of my Forerunner, Ruin Runner was the bane of my existence yesterday as a Victor player.
It really is.
Could not get rid of it.
Yes, it gives so much problems to a lot of decks. Honestly, there's no other card that says you can't target it, is there? I think this is the first of its kind, unless I'm forgetting one.
None that comes to mind. There's a couple things that have and give deflect, but I don't think just straight up no targeting.
Right. Yeah, perhaps a little bit underrated. Some people have said it's rather slow. It feels like it comes out a bit too behind. We'll see if that ends up coming into play this time around, because he did develop it somewhat in that early to mid game. But as we mentioned, Annie's already climbing up to 4, even potentially up to 5 with this Traveling Merchant Conquer as well. But has plenty of cards to work with. I mean, trying to think ahead. I mean, if she could go ahead and establish a bit more board presence in the back line, I think she'll be feeling in a decent position. Perhaps something like a secondary Kaiser Survivor followed up by a Noxus Hopeful. That'd be a big back line to kind of make sure, even if these 2 cards are taken out, you still have something to follow things up. But I have a feeling, I was just about to say, you're tapping 6. That has to be a Pharaoh's Forerunner coming down. This is probably a very similar Annie build that we saw win the Nianjan Regional. Have you seen that finals before?
I did. I watched your coverage of it, and one of the reasons why I want to play Azir. This Annie deck is just fast. Those Dravens that I thought we're only going to be seeing play in Draven decks are insane in this deck. I've been very impressed with this deck.
Yeah, so have I. And honestly, taking a peek behind the cards, as you mentioned, the Draven looking quite impactful. More importantly, the Flash, one more time, able to keep both your units safe. Seeing two more cards off the top, which is exactly why the Sabotage target is going to be targeting that Flash. Out to the trash it goes. At the minimum, you do have a fight or flight to return your Kaiser, plus get that +1 draw, but it won't be at reaction speed, of course. So let's see. And as we were speculating, Ned, the Trinity Force does come down, most likely going to get attached to that Ruin Runner. And the Relentless Pursuit going to be pushing something down and attaching an equipment for free. This signature spell is so impressive.
It is. Now, which one is he gonna want to conquer with? Because he knows about the fight or flight in hand.
Yeah, I would imagine the Ruin Runner, because you can't fight or flight the Ruin Runner, so you're forcing your opponent to go after your own Kaiser. But yeah, as we're seeing here, the fight or flight most likely or has to target its own unit just to get that +1 draw. And this is where it starts. And funny enough, he wants to retreat it because Relentless Pursuit said you are able to return back to base. But wait. It doesn't return in a ready position. You still have to spend the standard move. No, wait. This turn, this unit has when I conquer, you may move me to my. Okay, so no standard move. I see what happened there.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, he moved it, and then Relentless Pursuit was the one that moved it back to base, allowing him to double conquer 1-2, and that's actually 2 points per conquer because Trinity Force. Wow! What is going on from 3 to 6? Wait, no, didn't he double conquer? Shouldn't that have been 2 points? 2 points?
Yes, because he started the turn at 3, 2 per.
He conquered twice, right? So that should have been 4 points. If he was at 3, this guy might be at 7. Because, guys, Skyfall is going to be doubling the Trinity Force on the hold, making it conquer. So, man, we're seeing one of the best combos from a Lucian deck that's probably able to be done in Riftbound. The Ruin Runner paired with Skyfall paired with Trinity Force, you're getting an additional point per conquer. You conquered Dreaming Tree, so that was 1 for the conquer, 1 for the Trinity Force. And then you did the same thing on the Forge of the Fluff. I think he's behind 1 point. I think they're talking about it in chat.
Yeah. Wow. That is an insane amount of points in just 1 turn.
Yeah, quite literally from 3 to 7 points with a single unit. We thought the camel was impactful, but not quite like this. And it looks like they agreed on 6 points, but if we play it back, let us know in chat if you guys agree with us. I'm pretty sure he should be at 7 points.
It is a trigger. Yeah, I thought he was at 3, but you know, if he holds with one of them, I believe he gets the game because the last point will be the extra point, which you can win with, if my rulings are correct.
Yeah, it should. I mean, it probably works the same way as Draven, though, but I believe because it's a conquer. No, chat. I believe if you push in with Camel, you get the conquer, so you go up to 7, but then it would be a second conquer, so you still need the second battlefield. It wouldn't work like an additional point if you were at 7 to 8. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, and we get confirmation from chat. Thank you so much, guys. So he was at 2. I saw he was at 3. So he went from 2 all the way up to 6 points in a single turn. It looks like that's what everyone is on agreement with. And funny enough, it looks like he never hid those 3 cards he revealed from Sabotage. So we get a little bit of insight with the Draven, Tide Turner, and Cleave from Annie.
And you can even see the power of Kaisa here, though, of we knew the entirety of the hand last turn, and now we only know half the hand with 3 cards drawn this turn.
Right, that Dreaming Tree putting in work for the Annie, feeling comfortable now that she's effectively doubled the hand size from when he saw it. Or, he's used a couple cards since then. But I'm wondering what those three cards can be. Another flash will feel good, but honestly, he needs to put up some kind of defensive wall because Lucian on the cusp of winning this game. He just needs to conquer both battlefields in the same turn. And if he was at 7, I'm pretty sure. No, actually, I think both of those points are points via conquering. So I still believe either or you would have to conquer both battlefields in your turn.
Either way, they're both of them are at 6, and as I was saying, this is going to be a quick one.
It really was, right? We blinked and these guys just skipped up all the way to 6 points already. But there has been some interesting lines so far. I'm very curious though, because Annie, not known for her defensive capabilities, they don't have things to might increase. They just have things to push your units back. Things like rebuke, things like the fight or flight we saw earlier. So that camel could be the key piece Lucian needs to just completely close out this game. And they're just trying to set up that defensive wall with things like a Lucian that's able to bring up that total might defense by 10 or total of 10 rather. So it might be a little tricky if Lucian, those final 2 cards, if they're not something like a punch first, another perhaps relentless pursuit to push left and then push everything right. So this is going to be interesting because Annie has the card advantage, but Lucian feels like he's right there to close out game 1.
It does. We just have to see if this Kais can hold on to both battlefields or not.
And to be perfectly honest, I've never seen the interaction between the Trinity Force and Skyfall from 6 to 7, or vice versa. Not vice versa, but I mean from 6 all the way to 8. Because I know my understanding with things like Draven Audacious, you can't go from 6 to 8. But let's see how it goes down. At the very minimum, we could try to get a judge call in here because Rune Runner going in with a respectable 14 might versus the Flares Forerunner. That Forerunner is going to be going down ASAP. But does this Rune Runner go up to 8? Because chat is saying this is game.
Yeah, I believe in chat.
You know what it probably is? I think is the keyword here, hold. So you're getting a hold point, and from holding you can hold from 7 to 8. You see what I'm saying, Ned?
Oh, I see.
So I think that's what it comes to. So you're conquering, and then the point you're getting is actually a hold point, which any hold effectively can get you from 7 to 8.
After point scored. Yeah, my original thought was I know you can win off of things that like say score a point on card text. So that's what I was thinking, that that's why.
If it's the same as Annie, I'm not Annie, Ori, that makes sense. That makes sense because the conquer comes first and then the extra point comes after. Okay, guys, I think we're all on the same page now. Feels coming out, but that is totally not what I was expecting coming out of Annie. Start to peak, taking a page out of a bit of Kai's book sometimes, but she's not known for holding, unless with the Dravens, with the Ferris Forerunner, she feels a bit more comfortable holding start tip. What do you think, Ned? How do you feel about that battlefield?
I don't think I like it in this matchup, I'll be honest. I think Lucian's going to be a little bit better at holding, but maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out. He definitely has a game plan in mind. We didn't get to see it too much develop out in game number 1, perhaps with the sideboard edition, so he feels more comfortable trying to go for a more defensive / hold battlefields game plan. Because as you mentioned, I think Lucian is going to be the aggressor in this situation. But at the very minimum, Annie does start off with a nice little 2-drop. And going second, I want to say, is actually what Lucian prefers. Starting with those 3 runes, starting with your chosen champion. I don't think you get any bit better than that for Lucian.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, if you go first, you have a chance to play an equipment. Then your next turn, attach the equipment with Weapon Master, but starting out with just Lucian turn 1 is not a bad play.
Yeah, we saw how impactful it was in that opening game. Let's see if it does the same thing, because I like what he did with Skyfall. He simply attached it just to push the pace, just to have those 2 mites. But in this situation, you don't have the backup of Forge of the Fluff to detach the Skyfall. So if Sunken Temple was in the previous game, Lucian would have been the one stuck with Skyfall, not letting Ruin Runner do all that heavy lifting that it did to close out that game. But it looks like most likely Kai'Sa's Survivor, or at the minimum the Draven we saw, and there he is, Draven coming
There's the
down.
Draven.
Okay, I see where the start tip peak is coming into play now.
Yep, and with Purple's movement, maybe just trying to keep Lucian off the battlefield. But Lucian might just be more interested in the Sunken Temple and potentially drawing a card.
Yeah, he does need to equip something like Doran's Blade up to Lucian, which is a nice little combo. Ideally, you want Doran's Blade first before the Lucian because of the Warping Master, but of course, the Trinity Force coming down. Gonna be attaching. That does bring him into the range of having Mighty status, because 3+2, of course. Does he tap that final one? I would imagine he's not going to be leaving anything up, so might as well get the additional draw while you can, because you're going to conquer, and you simply retreat it back. But I like how Lucian's saying he's thinking, because Ned, is he scared of something? Oh, no. I think his opponent's saying thinking, because I was going to say, do you just leave it here for Trinity Force instead of retreating it back like you usually do?
What are you really scared of Annie playing for 5 might with 6 runes? That's going to be able to get you, that's going to kill it, because if it pushes it off, no big deal. But
for me, the only thing I'm going to be considerate of is going to be something like a Draven plus a Cleave combo. We saw the Cleave in hand from game number 1, so I think he's going to be a little cautious about that. Going to be saving it back to base, because yeah, he has exactly 7 runes, so a Darius plus another card could have probably defeated that Lucian. So I think it was a safer line. But now the start to peak, we said Annie, there's no way she's going to be able to host start to peak, but starting things off as soon as that 3rd turn, going to be getting the additional channel the exhausted runes. So up to 7 runes, potentially even 9 runes after this turn, unless they're going to use some power on some of these plays, because they tap 5. It almost seems to me like another accelerated Kai'Sa just to go up and get another point up to 3 perhaps.
It is in fact an accelerated Kai'Sa. Going up to 3 and drawing 1 off Conquer.
Yeah, she wishes she was able to get into that mighty status, but 1 might short, of course. It looks like she will have 3 defensive runes on the clapback though, so perhaps this Draven could hold down, because I think with the more runes, things like Mind Splitters, perhaps that was a sideboard addition for Annie. I think if you Mind Splitter the Rune Runner before it hits the board, that might just be your only out of dealing with the camel, so perhaps that's where the start to peak is coming into play.
I could very well see that. Yeah, because I'm not sure once that camel gets rolling, really what options Annie really has to be able to deal with it, besides just sending a lot of resources in the form of units, which I don't believe Annie's stereotypically play a lot of units.
I mean, the Annie builds that we saw out of the Chinese regions, they tend to play a fair amount of units, even more units than you would imagine. We saw the Rengar come into play as well. So imagine she has one here, right? 3 energy open. Something like a surprise Rengar could be quite impactful, of course. But let's see what Lucian has with 6 available energy. We saw that was perfect, and that was the perfect rune count to play something like a rune runner the previous turn. But he has a bit more cards, a bit more options available to him. And Ned, I am itching to reveal hand. I just want to know what these players have in hand, of course. But out of fairness to everyone, we have to be respectful and make sure no kind of stream sniping / cheating allegations can occur. So we'll keep it blind, just like everyone else here.
Yep, and Lucian gonna try and take on the Kaisa. Kaisa responding back with trying to stack the deck. See if they can get some sort of answer to this.
Yeah, I mean, better to push this back than not, because I think the further distance you separate yourself in terms of point margin, the better you're going to be feeling off as Annie, because you know, at any moment, once they drop a Ruin Runner, once they get that combo rolling off, it really catches up rather quickly. So you want to kind of make sure they stay as low as possible in terms of points. So I would imagine, I think it's worthwhile investing in something like a Fight or Flight. Perhaps even a Rebuke wouldn't feel all that negative in this situation because of the start to peak, right? You already channeled an extra rune. You're most likely looking to channel another rune, but hey, it will be the one card we anticipated a bit. That Fight or Flight does get deployed out, pushing the Lucian back in the exhausted position is very important to note.
Yep, it didn't conquer, so it does not untap.
And
ready.
there he is.
And the camel's back.
The camel coming down, and of course, is a 6 energy 5 might unit, so the perfect opportunity to let that go. Now it is time for Annie to try to set up something and not let this camel run away with it. The key thing I do want to point out that's different between this game, as I said before, it's going to be a bit of a workaround to get that Trinity Force onto the camel, because I'm trying to think of a way. Angle Shot can detach things. Lucian can't add anything like a Jax Legend. What other ways can you think about getting that Trinity Force moved over to Camel?
Moved over to Camel. Yeah, I just think the ways that you mentioned. Does the Lucian signature spell?
Oh, right. That's actually a way. It does say attach equipment onto it. I don't think it specifies unattached equipment. So I think you're absolutely right. That Relentless Pursuit could be pivotal in this game. You push it forward with, it could be the same play we saw before, but it's slightly different because Draven's on the battlefield, Traveling Merchant's on the battlefield. So you're going to have to get over 8 total might. That Skyfall brings you up to 7. Trinity Force brings you up to 9. So theoretically, you have it right there. And I don't think there's anything except something like we mentioned before, the Rengar coming down to add an additional 3 might. Because they don't have, blood. Cleaves are on the attack. Blood Rush are on the attack. There's no defensive might pumps coming out from Annie, I believe.
No, none that I can think of. Try and play Darius and then play 2 spells on their turn, but that's pretty bad value for you.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have enough runes to do something like that. But Annie thinking carefully, so did decide to retreat back to Kaisa and not taking the chance. Wants to see a little bit more cards in hand as they pitch another Draven, perhaps looking to set up a double Draven defensive hold. That does seem like it will do the job. Holding at 12 might seems like it will be sufficient enough, of course. But I don't know. The one card we haven't seen at all coming out from Lucian is the Punch First. There's no world he's not running Punch First, right, Ned? He's a body deck. He has to.
I mean, almost any orange deck runs Punch First.
And it looks like one way or the other, the Ferris Forerunner will be adding the collected total 12 might we were talking about. So tapping for that final Pouty Poro and then holding 2 up as Annie tends to do. Let's see, though. All you have to get over is that 12 might threshold. Can a Ferris Forerunner, or not Ferris, can a Camel off the back of a maybe Punch First? And then, wait, let's think about it. So 1 Punch First, that's going to be just 1. Relentless Pursuit's 2. The Skyfall is 3, I believe. So you theoretically have enough runes to do all of that.
That or just 2 Punch First?
And guys, I'm seeing here that Annie has an additional card. I mean, I want to call it Judge, but it should be all right. I think if both players didn't notice, it's still the job. We try casters not to intervene as much. Sometimes we do play Judge. Well, let's just let these guys play it out for this game one. If this was Top Cut, we would be forced to intervene, but it's just the opening round. I know there's a lot on the line. At the minimum, it should be a warning, so I could jot that down for Tawkos that he does have a warning. I'll write that down in the judge chat for us.
Sabotage coming out for Lucian, trying to see what tricks Annie has up their sleeve. Which I believe that Annie is thinking about responding to. Well, that one makes it pretty simple.
Yeah, very straightforward. The flash was going to be the more impactful play, allowing you to save those 2 units for the push back. The Vex is pretty interesting as well, just making those punch furs cost 1 more power, 1 more energy. So it's a 2 cost, 3 power play. Does not feel good to let that go, of course. So let's see. Annie lost last game 4 points up. And guys, theoretically, we could give this guy a game loss. I mean, we call the judge. How would we count all the cards in hand? 28, 5. What is that? 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40.
Yeah, when they sideboarded, I believe they didn't sideboard 1 card out, so they have an extra card in deck.
All right, chat. Since we did promise the high OPL rules, I will intervene for you guys since you guys really wanted it. We'll look on for the present. I don't know necessarily this is game 1 or 2. And whoa, the hand is revealed. Wait a second. Why is that a thing? Huh. Why is the hand revealed for Irelia? Oh, Mind Splitter. Okay, I was about to say, I thought it was a visual error.
I'm having a little bit of an issue connecting, but give me just a sec.
And since we couldn't get the cameras in, since this is kind of like a backup feature match, I'll go ahead and add the legends for us. All right, perfect. Ned, let us know when you join us here. That's the link there. If you just hit spectate, you should be able to join. And guys, naturally, Twanko is angry at you guys. He's saying lost to Twitch chat, you know, which was kind of a thing. I didn't notice it until you guys brought it to our attention. But as I said, it is what it is. We'll try to leave it there and focus on the current game as Siren retreats the Stellarcorn Herder, allowing her to get another additional card. Double Guardian Angel protecting both of these units. Irelia feeling like in a very comfortable position, especially when we consider the fact that she has quite the impressive card advantage developed so far. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 cards in hand as she lets go of the Boots of Swiftness. Most likely going to go for that 1-2 combo, but you don't necessarily need it just yet. Okay, it was just to bring her back to base. That does make sense.
Get the protect the president plan going. Make Irelia big, keep him safe.
Exactly right. And let's go ahead and fix these points because these are the points from the previous game. So I believe Irelia up top has 6.
And then the Kaisa has 5.
That's right. So, or the Draven.
Oh, is it Draven?
Yeah, the Draven legend. The Kaiser was a champion. Okay, it does look like Draven should be able to get up to 8 points, but the thermo beam coming down, and there's something like, actually, you can't even not so fast it because it doesn't target a specific unit. Every single gear from Irelia will be sent to the trash. That is a huge moment because you know she was hoping and relying on those Guardian Angels on top of the Boost of Swiftness, on top of the Siren to choose and target, enabling that Irelia Legend ability to come online. So that's a big moment because I know she was looking to close things out on her very next turn.
Yeah, and well, honestly, with Irelia, it's still very possible. They do have a massive grip of 10 cards in hand.
You're totally right. Those can be a Defiant Dance times two. Those can be an on guard. I believe from the Mind Splitter, we saw multiple combat tricks like those on guards. Perhaps even I saw disciplines as well. So we'll see. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think there's a world. I think the hard part is getting the other, to get the Irelia from one battlefield to the other, because I believe the Stellarcorn Herder isn't going to be sufficient enough to take down both of these units. Like, wherever the Mind Splitter goes, you're going to rely on Irelia to conquer both of these battlefields, because Draven's up to 7. All he needs to do is hold one more turn. Can he get the job done? Or does Irelia have just one too many cards in hand? It almost feels that way right now.
It does, but never count Draven out. Now the Draven going up to 7 just needs to hold on to one of these battlefields.
Yeah, he does. And you know what Draven's infamously known for are those rebukes and fighter flights. So you're able to rebuke one of these characters or one of these units. Just have to be slightly careful of those defies / not so fast cores. And with that much of card advantage, you're most likely gonna have one of those options. It looks like they're gonna be spending the 1 Fury Rune to go up to 6.
On guarding, giving it 2 from the card and then an extra 1 from the Irelia champion unit.
Mm-hmm. So does find herself all the way up to 8 total might, just 2 over. Let's see if Draven has any bit of combat tricks of his own. He's most likely thinking something along the lines of rebuke. If you send Irelia back, you're feeling good, but of course the spinning axe coming down, bringing his might total up to 9, 1 more over. But where there's one combat trick from Irelia, there tends to be more, as we're seeing here. Another on guard, bringing her up to 11 now. She stacks up so quickly, doesn't she?
She does, and noticeably not exhausting the legend to untap Irelia.
You're so right. They could have got an additional +1. If they had Boost of Swiftness, you attach it and gank on over. But I'm wondering, what can that final hidden card be for Draven? Perhaps a switcheroo as we saw in that previous game. Perhaps just a straightforward fighter flight as well. Gonna be testing the waters, if you will, with Stellarcorn Herder. The question is, do you want to invest some of your combat tricks on Stellarcorn? And it looks like we might get our answer here soon.
Say if you pump it up just 1, at least takes care of the Legion Hopeful. Fighter flighting the Mind Splitter back to base.
Yeah, and does decide to invest a discipline, bringing up to 5 total might, just 1 more over the hopeful, forcing out that hidden card. Is it going to be something like the switcheroo we're most likely anticipating, or is he forced to push back a Stellarcorn Herder, allowing Irelia to pick up another additional card? And he's thinking, rightfully so, because this is a tough decision. Either you lose your hidden card, you give some value to Irelia. I feel Irelia is in a firm control of this game as they're going down to the final seconds, or perhaps minutes actually, of this game, 7-7. But Irelia, with so much of that hand economy, I don't see a world where she won't be able to take this down.
Yeah, but they also only have 2 runes left open, as does the Draven, so it's possible Draven's got some combat tricks plus the hidden card.
Very true. As we said, it's going to be a bit of a tough position for the Irelia to find herself back over to the Obelisk of Power on the right-hand side. So he's saying, is there anything on your priority? Basically, are you going to go ahead and reveal your hidden card, or do you have something else like a spinning axe? If not, I'm going to be offering up the take down the hopeful, take down your hidden card, and then that's a conquer GG. And it looks like
they have a judge question.
Yeah, it looks like there's another judge call. Hopefully it's not a a game loss type judge call.
All right, chat, how many cards are in each deck?
Yeah, chat, let us know. You guys are a real head judge today, huh? So I think there was 12. We'll make sure it's nothing like that. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then what does it say left? Is that, and actually they don't have the card totals over their deck. We can't even make sure. And someone with the memes, 42. We'll see. Just a slight little judge call. We don't know what it is about. Perhaps just trying to get clarification on a timing window.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you have been running Spiritforged tournaments for a good bit now, but for some of us, you know, just getting our hands on Spiritforge and still learning how some of these card interactions work.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be surprised. It's still a lot of people's first time first introduction to Spirit Forge. So yeah, we actually started Spirit Forge tournaments perhaps 2 months ago now. So a lot of players that have been playing in our events are decently familiar with the card interactions, with the current meta conditions. But perhaps one of these players are rather new, like you mentioned. I don't think they're truly new because they're not actually playing like new players, but rather just slight little intricacies or subtleties to the rulings. They're trying to get full clarification as there's a lot of stakes on the line. With that in mind, though, there's 5 minutes remaining in this match. There's just 5 minutes, but there is 3 turn overtime. So everyone has to keep that in mind. Active player goes to turn 0 and then 3 additional turns after that. And the biggest changes to the tournament rules that will be presented at all the regionals coming forward, you have to be ahead by 2. If no player can close it out by the end of that turn 3, it's going to be a tie because it's 7-7. You can no longer win by 2 in this position, but I'm willing to bet they can close things out but before then.
So they go to even, which will stop.
Was the switcheroo.
That is really great on the Irelia's part, because if they had gone over by 1, they would have been able to switcheroo the might, and then Draven would have won on their beginning phase.
Yeah, all it takes is an accelerated unit. Irelia completely exhausted out of runes, exhausted out of options. So Mindsplitter going for the opposite power. It looks like, they channeled and didn't have more than 3 runes. I thought they had 3 runes last time, going up to 5, allowing for something like a Kaiser Survivor to come in. But who needs a Kaiser Survivor when the win is going to be coming now? 7-4 might, and there's really nothing you can do as you're completely tapped out.
Yep.
We thought Irelia had it all but locked in with that impressive hand size, but Draven kind of just sneaking it out of nowhere, felt like.
Never ever count Draven out.
GG, look at that abundance of cards, right? 2 defies, a discipline. Oh, that feels bad to get killed with that hand.
I've had this happen so many times in almost every one of the games I lost. If I had 1 more rune, I could have turned it around, and that's what this Irelia is saying right now.